Ask men by meal minimum. What are some indications that somebody had a very harsh parents? Extreme perfectionism and the feeling of never being good enough. I, for one, feel personally attacked. Apologizing constantly. Extreme reactions to anything that could be perceived as criticism. Apologizing overly. Crying. Anger. Waiting for permission to do normal day-to-day things. Nailed it. Been struggling with this my whole adult life. A lot of self-doubt, low self-esteem, severe attachment issues. Source, me haha, but day by day I'm improving. Oh, that's why I'm the way I am. Damn. My parents are what I would like to call top tier strict, so I'll confirm the following indications. 1. Hearing and recognition footsteps. 2. Very good hearing. 3. Manipulating someone into calming down. 4. Believing they are not good enough. 5. Overthinking, I'd say. 6. Self-doubt and low self-esteem. 7. Apologizing a lot. The last 2 have been already mentioned by many, so cheerio guys. 1 and 2 are usually lumped together under the term hypervigilance. When the phrase "you don't get out very much do you" triggers you because you really didn't and don't know much of what people your age are supposed to do to suffocating parents and a before sundown curfew. Damn, I feel that. I have a friend that is always quiet in everything he does. I saw him have anxiety when he had food in the microwave and he didn't open the door before the beeping started. I never realized that I hold my breath a lot until I had to do respiratory exercises after a surgery I had. Paying attention to my breathing, I found out I take deep, quiet breaths and then hold it while I run to the bathroom or leave the house. Like I'm bothering someone by breathing too loud. An irrational level of anger when I feel like someone is trying to manipulate me. I would rather they look me in the face and call me stupid. I can see manipulators coming a mile away, and if you call them on it, the gaslighting begins. Yo, this is me. Low self-esteem, insecurity and anxiety about the slightest tasks but ambivalence towards actual important things, emotionally imbalanced. Could you explain the anxiety over small tasks, ambivalent towards important things? I'm only realizing my strict parents now via these comments, and yours nailed me to a T. Never show any emotion around people because they're tied in so many emotional knots that it's impossible to act normal. As in, they always have to behave correctly. I felt this was me. But it was an ex. I felt that I know exactly what to say, what tone to use, what face to show, so she will not explode. Anxiety and constantly apologizing. Envy. As someone that always had to justify their hobbies choices, sometimes I see others out doing things I like, making music, taking photos, etc., seemingly without the internal feeling of being an imposter, of a failure, and it kills me. Of course they aren't perfect either, but there's a feeling that others are living life with freedom while I need to carry around high standards and a fear of never being good enough or wasting my time. I feel this about people with passions. I even remember as a young teen feeling envious with girls who were obsessed with Justin Bieber or Twilight. I die for a smidgen of that passion for anything. Avoiding conflict or not dealing with tense situations well. We go one of two ways with me. Usually, I'll take way too much quietly. Occasionally though. Occasionally helps hell's coming. Neither of those is healthy. Feeling like everyone is mad at me. Like anytime someone else isn't in a great mood, either I caused it or it's my job to fix it. Same. Hyper-focus, hyper-alertness, hypersensitivity, hyper-fucking anxiety, and a blazing case of imposter syndrome. They are excellent liars, to conceal their real selves from their parents. Masking might be the more appropriate word, i.e. masking their pain. You can barely hear them when they are moving through the house. Fear of being trapped. I can't stand it when my husband parks behind me in the driveway and whether I can come and go as I want depends on somebody else. Also can't stand being inside with all the doors closed and curtains closed. I can't work in an area with no windows or anywhere that I can't see outside.
Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, even so much as switching to the closing shift at work, so I'm expected to stay all the way to the end of the day where before is leave when the work is done, is enough to stress me out. Defiance to authority figures. Inability to trust. Overly polite and almost afraid to move in other people's homes. Overly apologetic. A lot of crying. A complete lack of self-compassion. Fear of authority figures. Terror of punishment. Pessimism. Fear of competing. Protective of people for being too harsh, as a sense of duty or responsibility. While fear of competing. I've never been competitive. Now I understand why. Extreme anxiety. People pleasing. My ex has this issue and her parents were what ultimately ended our relationship. Super controlling Southern Baptists who thought you couldn't be Christian if you drank. They turned on me once they realized they couldn't control my life and made her choose between them and me. Doesn't help that she was homeschooled and lived with them all her life at 25. I also think that they were unhappy in their marriage and projected it on us. Horribly critical self-talk.
Maybe I'm one of those people that has always wanted to do it.
They do things to the
But
extreme.
it's like a pipe
Mostly
dream
seen as excessive
for me,
drinking.
you know, and then you said it. You
Asking for
change
permission or
things
telling
when
you
grow
what
up.
they are about to
Maybe
do
I'm one
or
of those
thinking a
people that I'm
lot.
not supposed to, and I can go back to school.
Hiding
And I
important
can find someone
information,
else that I'm supposed
details
to,
and decision
because
from
I
them
left
once you start living on your
to do
own.
that, and it's been
You were
6
judged
years,
constantly
and I
and
don't
received
do it
pity
anymore.
instead of empathic guidance. They rush decision making on your behalf and you don't want them playing God mode in your life. Me reading these replies and realizing, oh, shit, that's me. Since this is Reddit, the obvious has to be stated. Experiences impact everyone differently. A friend fought off a home invasion and slept fine the next day. A friend with the same experience had to move. I have two separate friends that had very strict parents growing up and their parents wouldn't let them hang out all day as kids, even when everyone in the neighborhood was outside playing on a great day. Now that we're all older, those same two friends are always going out to parties, bars, clubs, the next event, festivals, you name it. Wherever the thrill and the party is, they are there at the function every single time.
Yes, you are.
No.
Self-doubt, tons of apologizing even for the most minor inconvenience, feeling like walking on eggshells around people, trying to please everyone and trust issues when it comes to someone having an ulterior motive when interacting with you. Shit is hard to deal with, but bless my GF for putting up with my weird ass. Being very critical. That's a learned behavior. I had an ex who would flinch whenever someone tried to give her a high five. Thinking you'll get in trouble for something, even at 59 years old. They are great for society but hell on themselves in private. The fuck around and find out attitude. Source, me. People pleasing. These comments make me feel attacked and not just one or two. They move out at 17 and are hyper independent and individualistic. Trying to please people and pressuring yourself to be perfect. I was this person that tried to have everybody's approval and it turned me into a better person that used to bash people for their minimal flaws, while I was denying my own flaws. Today I struggle to be kind to me and others, living far away from my parents. My partner helped me a lot to just be myself and do not judge others. My mother fucked up my self-esteem and my self-awareness. I hope I'll never be a mom like her. Overly apologetic. A lot of crying. A complete lack of self-compassion. Fear of authority figures. Terror of punishment. Pessimism. Fear of competing. Protective of people for being too harsh, as a sense of duty or responsibility. Learning to step perfectly silently. If someone were to give me a compliment, I would shut down and wonder what their motive was. I learned how to be sneaky and got good at lying. And if someone were to reach out to hug me, I would freeze. Ugh. Thankfully, my hubby is such an angel. Love him. Personality disorders. Mr. Nice Guy behavior. Summary video. https://yahoo.be/hz-u04imvn4 Nice guys are conditioned to have an authentic buy-in and safe upbringing. They have learned it is safer and a better transactional bet if they are dishonest. They are passive aggressive, because they are not honest with themselves either, and they learned poor boundaries. Had to bail out of that video. Probably good content but terrible voice acting. They say sorry all of the time. Living in a different state or country than their parents. I was going to say something, but I see someone already nailed it perfectly. They project the same kind of harshness to the people around them. I knew someone who told them horrible things. I overheard a conversation, and they told me close to the same things when they were mad at me. Is anyone else reading this thread and realizing they might have had strict parents? I've never thought about it until now. I thought all of this stuff was normal. Intense anxiety over basic things. Seeing everything as a failure, even decisions that worked out well or arbitrary style choices. A damaging amount of impatience. Excusing themselves based on their past. Sorry but I'm not sorry because it's their fault. While this is often the truth, it is not an excuse, it's an ultimatum. They are extremely adept at lying and hiding things. One thing that my late husband and I really had to navigate was that he was fearful of telling me bad news or something that I wouldn't like because he was afraid of making me mad, even though I'm the chillest, most relaxed guy on the planet, and if anything, my reaction is to get grumpy, not angry. Quiet, has little or no friends, tends to have an overactive imagination. Withdrawn and skittish behavior along with extreme nervousness. I don't know about everyone, but I find myself apologizing for emotions. I apologize for being happy. I apologize for being angry. My wife had a miscarriage and I apologized for crying. Scrolling down this thread is just like voluntarily laying on the depression. They feel they have to be perfect all the time. I went to school with people who would be in trouble if they got a 99 on their test and not 100. An obsessively well manicured lawn. For some, it's a matter of pride. For my neighbor, it's a matter of his dad beat it into him that respectable people never have a blade of grass out of line or different shade of green and no lines are required. Neighbors are also subject to these rules, despite living out of city limits. I moved out here specifically to avoid his kind lol. They will apologize for absolutely everything all of the time. Going out of the way for others but not themselves.